Danger, Will Robinson! Danger! No, Will Robinson! Danger!
So, Pastor Dixie, you were telling me about the first time you knew you were called to share your gifts of time, talent, and money for building Christ Church. So, just telling me.
Well, as I was saying, I think it was, a gradual unveiling over time, like peeling an apple. But there is one very clear moment where I knew that this is what I had to give to the church. And I'd always known that I was called to do art, be a storyteller, and that it'd be some sort of ministry, but didn't actually know what it looked like, and kept kind of searching. And it wasn't until my junior year of college, fall 2009, the first week in December, it was my directing class's showcase of their final project. And mine was a production of Genesis 11, 1 through 9, the Tower of Babel. And it was beautiful. And I remember, lights going off, coming back on, it being done, and the actors bowing and people clapping. But the most vivid thing I remember in that moment is knowing this is what I've been looking for. This is what I have to give, and seeing what God was asking me to do, asking me to give with my life and the time and everything it would take to do this, to be a bridge between the arts and the church. And so in that moment I went, okay, yes, yeah, I'll do that. This is what I'm going to do in some way, shape, or form. So that was the first time. The apple's still unpeeling.
Right.
More is being revealed, but it was very clear that this is what I had to give. This is what I had to offer.
It sounds like in that moment, too, you experienced a lot of joy. And our stewardship series, which we began on Sunday, is called The Joy of Giving Dangerously. And what you just described, as you say it, your whole countenance lights up. So it sounds like in that moment you experienced that joy, the joy of giving. And it excited you. Am I right about that?
Yeah. Sometimes we ask each other where our happiest moment is, and no one actually knows, but
that was one.
That's the happiest I've ever been.
Really? Okay. Sometimes when we think we're called to give, especially if we're thinking about it as opposed to experiencing it, we don't realize that God is blessing us as well as wherever our gifts will plant themselves, that God is also doing something in and through us. And so that story reminds me that when I give, there's something that wonderful that God is blessing me with. And I think that's part of what we're hoping to rekindle as we go through the series. But the other part of the theme is the danger of our faith. So when has your faith ever gotten you in trouble, or when have you ever gotten into danger because of your faith?
I don't think it'd be danger as in my life was at stake, because I felt pretty safe when I went to Vietnam. But there's danger especially in the arts community, and in saying that you're a Christian. Mostly because then they have a lot of assumptions of what Christians are, and what they think and who they are. And so in having that faith and wanting to be proud of it and to reclaim what this name is, there's a danger of them ostracizing you, of just assuming that, beating you to the punchline. Okay, you're not going to accept me, so I'm just not going to accept you first. And it has just made transitions, or at least the first parts of making relationships and friendships with people who aren't in the church and really are scarred from it, to get those healing, or to just make a friendship, has been, so yeah, there's that bit of risk of having faith and loving God and wanting to share that.
Right.
But then the history or memory people have of that not being their experience.
Right.
That memory puts me at odds, and to navigate that, it gets really tricky sometimes.
Right. We feel vulnerable, and something's at risk because rejection is always there. And it's so funny because you talk about people who are outside the church. Rejection can also happen with us inside of the church. And stepping out on your faith can be dangerous business when your relationships are at stake. So
I mean, I've had plenty of contrary opinions, or even just being an artist in the church as well. A part of what artists are assuming is happening in the church does happen, in being an artist or just being someone who's different and having different views. I have felt that, and so I get it.
Right. And it's so interesting because God challenges us to make room at the table for everyone. And it really doesn't matter what position we hold in the church, what seat we have, or who's sitting next to us. We're always going to encounter differences of opinions and expressions and judgments. And God keeps telling us that's okay, make room, make room. And that's something that for many of us puts us in a precarious situation. Well, this has been a lot of fun, and I pray it has been for you as well, and that you will look forward to joining us this Sunday as we continue our journey through Stewardship 2013, The Joy of Giving Dangerously. God bless.